And once you log in, uh, I want you to I want you to go here. So I'm just going to present you with something like this, and then you're going to go up to the top of the page under incidents, and you go GEMSIS PCR EMS version 3.5 form, and you'll click that, and this is what you're going to see. Okay. Time to get busy. Hey, Hunter, are you still having problems getting logged in? Yes, sir. Are you having a hard time getting in? Yeah, you logged into mygymsys.org/elite. Oh, I can help you out. Hold on. You're already in. You're already in here. That's no problem. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just gonna be me and you tonight, so this ain't gonna take all day. Mhm. Yeah, that's great. It's they're both both sites are yeah, it's the same login. Hold on a second. It's Kane, right? CAN. Yeah, you know what? I didn't add you on here. All right, hold on a second. Let me just find you. I'm going. I'm, is it Hunter Kane? Okay, all right, that's fine. I see a Joseph, but I don't see a Hunter. Okay, all right, cool. All right, no problem. Okay, I got you. Well, I mean, the well thing, everybody goes by their middle name, you know. So yeah, I know I'm the same way. Me too. No problem. No judgment here. I'd like to remain anonymous. Okay. All right, I got you. I found you, and here's what I'm going to do. All right, so I'm going to so your username is I'm going to send you your username and password by email. I'm going to give you a new password. All right, it's in your email. I don't want to do this on the live stream because like everything gets recorded, and then I have to go back and figure out like oh, I just give someone's username and password over the freaking internet, you know, and I just like compromising integrity of the whole system. All right, so I got there. Just let me know when you get back on, when you get logged in, okay? 10-4. All right, thank you. I see you. Bye. All right, good deal. Are you ready? I want you to like follow, do what I do. All right, here we go. All right. All right. Step number one, incident number. We're going to put cancel. EMS response number, cancel. Okay. And then you're just going to hit next. I don't want you to put in unit notified, dispatch date and time yet. We're going to put that in later. Okay. Now you need to add a crew member. So I like to add Amer. He's a good fellow. And hit OK. Then hit next. Dispatch reason. Abdominal pain or problems. Then hit next. Unit info, you're going to hit Med 1. And you have a BLS ground transport. And you're the first unit on scene. Then click next. Response info. 911 response to the scene. Non-emergent. Response mode to the scene. Then next. Number of patients on scene, there are none. And then no patient found. Crew disposition. I've got to scroll down to find back in service, no care, support services required. And next, incident location is a private residence. And then I put the same street address in every time, 123 Elm Street. And it's at 30341. And then you click incident location address lookup and select Chambly. The next, and then response times. This is where you have to be very careful and go in order from top to bottom. So you go like stop here one, this one, this one, then hit cancel for you update crew, then hit the next one at once, and the last one at once. Boom. Oh, and it wants me to go back and fix something on dispatch info. Oh, wants me to update the dispatch party. That gives me 100% validity at the bottom, and that's what we want. We want to see 100% validity. So we hit save, and then you're going to hit finish incident down here, and then close. Oh, damn, dude, that's fucking awesome. You're almost done. So let me know when you get there. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay, awesome. You get the idea. Now, what I want you to do, I want you to do three more. Yep. You're 100%. That's perfect. Just do three more. Just do three more exactly like that. Then we're going to do one more together. Awesome. Good work, dude. Perfect. Okay. Are you ready to continue? Awesome. Okay. All right. Now we are going to, and I'm going to change it up a little bit. So basically, what you got was a real quick and easy way to understand like how that system works and what it does. It collects a lot of information about a given call. It seems extraneous, but I'm going to demonstrate that it's actually not extraneous at all. Okay, good deal. All right, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to watch a little video here, and there's no audio here, so I'm just going to kind of narrate it. There we go. I did this in AI. I'm still working on AI. Yeah, is this it? Oh, here we go. All right, you ready? All right, so basically, I'm just going to narrate kind of a story here. So we're at an ambulance station, and these are AI people. And it's funny I'm going to pick on all the AI stuff. So these two AI characters are on this ambulance, and they're checking the truck out, which is not what the back of an ambulance looks like. It's what AI thinks the back of an ambulance looks like. Like it's a giant, like we're carrying blood and shit. He's got some kind of weird thing with tape. I don't know, like what that is. Like, what do you think about the tape, Gary? And then now she's got to think about tape too. It's hard to watch. Oh, tape. Brr. So I get a call on their Chinese-looking bullshit radio that they have in the front of their truck, and the and now they're going back and forth to dispatch. Dispatch to Med One needs you to respond to a person down with abdominal pain at 123 Elm Street. And then he gets on there and he's talking to dispatch. It was only supposed to be we're en route, but for some reason he just I don't know what even know what he's talking about. Anyway, so now they're leaving the station. They're driving lights and they're traveling emergency and they're driving through town. And for some reason, it's my observation about AI is it thinks all inner city areas look like Canada. Like apparently AI is Canadian. And then this guy's in the back of the ambulance, and he's actually continuing to do inventory. All right, so now the ambulance shows up at the scene, and here's the lady. She meets him at the door. She's got clearly has abdominal pain. So they go and somehow, for some reason, they got a different ambulance over there, and they're walking from across the street. I don't quite know what that's about. So now they go inside the house, and the lady's sitting there with a cup of coffee, and now they're going to have a talk. And she's, oh, my stomach hurts so bad. Oh, and so now they're going to talk about it, and they're going to do a. He's going to do a clearly doing a sample history. Great biceps on that guy, by the way. Now she jumps in and she's going to take vital signs, but apparently she takes her vital signs so hard that her arm starts bleeding. Now he inappropriately touches the patient, feeling for tenderness. It's a little uncomfortable to watch. Now they're continuing to talk about stuff. And now they put her, not only did they put her on a hospital bed, but now there's two of the same guy there. And the patient is also the female medic. And they put her on a hospital bed. And somehow there's an ambulance inside the ER. There was just so many things going on with this video. I just left it the way it was. It was just so crazy. And so now they're just, patting each other on the back or whatever about this call and like, "Grr, grr, 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 grr." And then they go back to looking at stalking the ambulance and pulling tape and shit. And anyway, so that's the call. Okay, so all right, so now we're gonna now so I'm gonna run it again, but I'm gonna ask you some questions. All right, so what type of response? How did the ambulance respond to the emergency? Okay, so how did the ambulance respond to the call? What would the medics have discovered when they conducted the scene size up? All right, Jeffrey, you with me? Joseph, you with me? You with me? Yeah, got you. Awesome. All right, very good. All right, so now you know that. So the ambulance responded emergency to the call, and they found deadly shit on the scene size of. And then he performed a focus history and physical exam, which kind of looks like this. Then, so I'm just trying to get you to turn this call into kind of the language that I tried to teach you in class. Okay, and so here is my uh, Chinese menu, and as you can see, there was a scene size up was conducted, a primary survey was conducted, and then a focus history and physical exam was conducted, and that's what happened. All right, so now we're going to write it up. So now what I want you to do is I want you to start a new patient care report, and this will be the last patient care report we do. Okay, I just wanted to make the last one about actually running a call. Okay, so we're going to go incidents and we're going to write this one together. But so let me know when you're ready by typing into the chat bar there, and then all right, cool. All right. Okay, here we go. Okay, this time we're going to put incident number is transport. Transport. We're going to leave the unit notified time blank as we did before. Okay. Then we're going to add a crew member, but this time we got to add two crew members. So we're going to add Aimer in there, and then we're going to add Owen in there, and we're going to make him the driver. Hmm. And then dispatch reason is abdominal pain problems. Unit EMS call sign, Med 1, BLS ambulance. First EMS on scene, yes. Type of service requested was a 911 to the scene. Scene response is non. This time it was emergent. As you recall, we drove the light and siren to the call. Okay. Number of patients at the scene was 1. We made patient contact. The patient was evaluated and care provided. Crew disposition, initiated care, and continued primary care. Transport disposition, transport by this EMS unit. Incident location type is a private home or residence. We're at 123 Elm Street again. All right, this postal code is 30341. Type of scene delay. We didn't have one. Now, what it's one thing like some of the. Let me just stop for a second and explain why you have this. So, at any point in time, you could be you have to kind of determine like what's a delay. I mean, like for instance, I've been dispatched to a call and we knew it was going to take an hour to get their lights and sirens, like plenty of times. Is that really a delay? So, I mean, you might say a delay is as anything greater than 10-minute response time. It could have been so you put distance in there, um, or you could have said it was a like a lot of times you'll get pulled, you'll get um, it'll be a train, which I'm surprised train is not in here. This is like the number one thing that really um, that really will delay an ambulance is a fucking train. It's unbelievable. So I got building failure, fire, mass gathering, secondary shooter. Yeah, look at that. No train. What a bunch of amateurs that put this together. Fucktards. Anyway, let's see. Was train on here? There's traffic. Unbelievable, man. Anyway, so I just wanted to share with that with you. Hold on a second. Let me look, see what's going on. Yeah, I think it's okay, man. I'm just the videos. The videos showing on my end. Do you got your video? You got the video back? Hmm. Oh, okay. All right. Number of patients and disposition. All right. No problem. Hold on. I'll back up. All right. So number of patients, single. Patient contact made. Patient evaluated and care provided. This time you're going to Initiate and continue primary care under crew disposition. Transport disposition was transport by this EMS unit. You're going to click next. Incident location, it's a family residence, 123 Elm Street. Put the zip code in there, find the location, and then I wanted to tell you about the delay. So these are all things that we used to have to like. These are all things that we would have. There was no, there really wasn't there was nothing in there that there was no, before we were able to put all this stuff in there. Okay, cool. All right, so and so you had to actually remember to put this in the narrative. So now, because if you're really diligent about putting all your times and all your information in there, the you don't really have to be that you don't have to be that good at writing anymore. Really don't have to be that good at it. So I mean, I remember we had calls that were fucked up, and we would sit there and like maybe my partner would say, you know what, Gary, you better write this up. You're a lot better at writing patient care reports than I am, and or something because like you knew it was going to go to court or something, you know. So you know it's going to get read by somebody that wasn't a dumbass EMS person or doctor or whatever who doesn't give a shit. It's gonna be read by somebody that's trying to nail you for something. All right, now we're gonna do the times, but we're not gonna do all the times. Okay, so we're just gonna do the times up to where when we got to there's a boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna cancel updating the crew, and then we arrived on scene, and then everything else we're just gonna wait. So we're gonna hold on to the rest. You're gonna see how we put all this together. This is probably the best way to do it. All right, so now we're going to go into patient information. Now, this is where I wanted to tell you about this. I didn't realize, I never realized how many patients that we have that call 911 are frequent flyers. Like, they're all frequent flyers. Like, all the patients are frequent flyers. So, the, it's crazy. So for that, for that, the people that write the software, they know that they address that by having by doing a frequent flyer. Um, so they give you like this opportunity to do a frequent flyer app on there, and so that these are people that have to call 911 all the time, and so the um, so it's funny how the people that write the software understand what EMS really is, and the people that run the calls actually don't. It's really funny when you think about that. So they put all these features in there because, yeah, well, I mean, it's the same fucking people calling 911 all the time. Why don't they just hit a button and just import the person there? But unfortunately, we don't get that option. See, right now it's been turned off for this because we are a training agency. So they're probably concerned that maybe we would find an actual person on there and but what you will find is you'll see that you will see that there are um, there's lots and lots of people that um, um, that you would find. So anyway, all right. So anyway, we're going to put the patient's name in like we just met her for the first time, and I'm just telling you from experience that if you transported this lady one time, you've transported her 10 times. You just didn't. You just wasn't your shift. All right. So her name is Doe. First name is Jane. Date of birth is 01/01/1980. She's 40. That makes her 46. She is female. She is white. All right. So the patient address is the same as the incident address. So like when they give you the little shortcut like that, you should take it. But you notice that they have homeless, foreign visitor, migrant worker. I don't think that just between me and you and the lamppost, I don't think they only need one button. All right. So then, since the patient is over the age is it's not a minor, we don't need to worry about closest relative guardian. That only applies when you have like a pediatric patient. As you recall, pediatric patients are incapable of making medical slash legal decisions for themselves, so we have to assign them a caretaker. All right. These are this is something that's new. Came out during COVID, so you're kind of doing some COVID screening. We don't know. We don't know. Next. All right, so now we're going to get into medical history. So when we talked to this patient, she told us that she is a diabetic and that she has high blood pressure. Okay, so we're gonna document that in here. So high blood pressure. So look, we've got hypertension. Okay, essential primary hypertension. Boom. Okay, and then we can add another one. We're going to add diabetes. Oh yeah, look at this bullshit. They go type 1 and type 2 diabetes. I mean, look, does it matter if she was born with it or not? It doesn't really affect us today, does it? But what does affect us is if she takes insulin or not. These people will never learn, will they? But let's just say she's a type 2 diabetes just to satisfy the system and move on. All right. If they had provided us with any other type of medical history, we could have put that in there. Like she might have told us that she had a, a neural implant. Why not? All right. So then we got, and then they want to know about alcohol drug use indicators. I mean, yeah, you could put all this on there, but it actually, or you just click here that not none reported, and that satisfies that block. Possible pregnancy, anything's possible. Current medications. All right. So this patient takes lisinopril. Okay. And the patient also takes glyburide, metformin. There you go. All right. Now we're going to type in the dosages. Now you might say, "Damn, Gary, this is a lot of work to just put all this crap in here." It really isn't that bad, but honestly, again, what have I been saying? This is not the last time you will see this patient. So, like, we have to understand that, like you would only have to do this when you came in contact with a new patient. Not unlike the way they manage people when you go to the doctor's office. It's the same thing. It's the same thing 100%. All right. So we say 10 milligrams of lisinopril, and she's sound as a pound. All right, then glyburide. Let's say I don't know. I think it was like 20 milligrams. I don't remember. All right, so those are medications. Boom. Medication allergies. Let's say that she is allergic to NSAIDs. And let's say that she is allergic to, look at all this stuff, the cool stuff you can be allergic to here. I mean, this is definitely over the top. Let's look at the drop down list. Ants. Look, you're allergic to cat dander. I'm allergic to cat dander. I bet Peanuts is in here. What do you bet? Anyway, look at all that. That's crazy, huh? Latex allergies, gauze, perfume, food. Yeah. Food, pollen. How could you be allergic to a potato? Holy shit, I gotta put that in there. How are you allergic to potato? Unbelievable. Yeah. All right, so now we're going to move on to patient assessment. All right, look, barriers to patient care. There wasn't any. What is exactly it? What are they talking about with a barrier to patient care? They're talking about maybe there's a bunch of drugs there. Maybe the patient has developmentally disabled. I've ran into this plenty of time. There's a cultural, religious barrier, like you're there to take care of a female patient and you're a male and it's a Muslim household. Kind of a kind of a no go. Um, the Our attitude about it was, no, why can't you send a female ambulance here? And I'm like, we don't have any, and you're lucky to get this one, so we'll be happy to leave. This is kind of our attitude about it. Language, obesity, physically impaired. See, there's a lot of things that could apply here. You know. All right, patient complaints. All right, chief complaint is abdominal pain, and we said it happened for 30. It was going on for 2 hours. Primary symptom. All right, so we got that. It wants it. The primary symptom here is abdominal pain. So you have to scroll down to pain, acute abdomen, and you can definitely add more detail here. And if they had a secondary complaint, you could add that in there too. All right, the primary impression is abdominal pain. See, the primary impression should be my index of suspicion. You see how what they did there? They didn't have any real structure when they put this together. They just put like some bullshit from somewhere. Provider secondary impression, don't have one. None noted. Not applicable. All right. Initial patient activity acuity. I'm going to say, all right. So it kind of depends on what your definition is of acuity level. Okay, so if your patient is loud, complaining of a lot, and bitchy, there are plenty of people that would say that is high acuity. I don't look at it like that way. I look at it like I look at you. I'm looking at you from the viewpoint of my Chinese menu. You're talking to me. I'm not having to do CPR. You don't even need oxygen. So you're a non-acute routine patient as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, she could be in unbelievable amounts of pain, and wouldn't give a flying shit about it. Wouldn't change my initial acuity level at all. It's simply a matter of, and that's kind of an interpretation that you can either have for yourself or your ambulance service could have, and you'll find that many ambulance services won't have a one of nobody will have ever thought about any of this stuff, you know. So yeah, it wasn't a cardiac arrest. Possible injury, no. Possible stroke, no. It was not a ST elevated MI or heart attack. We don't think she's pregnant because she didn't tell us so much. We got to add some vital signs. All right, so method of blood pressure measurement is manual, auscultated. We put our number in there. Let's say it was 160 over 100 because she's in a lot of pain. Okay. Heart rate is 100. It is. We palpated her pulse, which is what we should be doing. 98%. Pulse rhythm was regular. Respiratory rate was 12. Respiratory effort was normal. Since she's a diabetic, we would have had to have taken her blood sugar. So let's say it was 160. All right, the Glasgow Coma Scale. So the Glasgow Coma Scale is not something we didn't really talk about that much in class. The GCS is a 3 to 15 scale that basically determines that specifies what a person's level of consciousness. Kind of like you got to think about it, it's like level of consciousness and altered mental status kind of put together in one thing. So uh, it's a full neurological description of how a person is. We don't really need it that much. We don't sit around and go, "Oh, that patient's GCS was 8. Oh, mine was 4." We don't really care. A cardiac arrest is 3. But who uses this? The hospital uses it. Not on every patient. They use it for head injury patients. So, or patients with altered mental status, they want to know GCS on your patient. If you got a drunk guy, they're going to want to know the GCS. You got a guy that's been hit in the head that's confused, they want a GCS. So that is that. So it got somehow canonized a into something that every vital sign has a GCS worksheet on it. So you kind of have to just add it every time. It's kind of a pain in the ass. And then they wanted you to qualify it. So it says initial GCSR has legitimate values without interventions. And it gave you a number. 15 is as good as it gets. The patient was alert. So I remember Garrett, my rationale for level of conscious was you're either alert or you're not alert, right? But that I did tell you, full disclosure, I did tell you about verbal, painful, and unresponsive. Okay. These are medically acceptable ways of looking at patients and describing their condition. So anyway, we basically think that when she's talking to us, she is alert. If she was only moaning when we talked to her, then that would be verbally responsive. If we had to like make a if we had to pinch or something to get her to talk to us and or to do any, to make any noises, then that would be painful. But again, what I try to do is keep it simple because patients who are alert don't need their airway checked, but patients who are verbally painful or unresponsive do need their airway checked. That's what I was trying to get across to you, and this is when you take the registry test, they're going to try to screw around with questions like this because they see that the average person thinks that a verbally responsive person is actually talking to you, talking to the medics, and that is absolutely not true. Again, it's just a matter of time before I get a restraining order from National Registry. I will have to go on their premises, beat the shit out of somebody else over there. All right, all right. So there you go. Revised trauma score is it's another score that's associated with trauma systems. So we don't really use the revised trauma score in Georgia. In Georgia, we've never been known to be good at math. So that's just there you go. But but like if you went to another state like Colorado or Nevada or something like that, you were trying to go to a trauma center. Yeah, they probably would actually have they probably would actually use the revised trauma scale, which is fine. It's something you could do. All right, so we're gonna come back. We'll We'll come back to that. All right. So next, all right. So now we go. We didn't do any labs or imaging. All right. So then that's all the questions about patient assessment. Well, it looks like we have some. It wants to know about the time. We're gonna have to come back to that. Okay. In fact, why don't we just do this? We're gonna add the time, and then I'm gonna show you a little feature. All these little time marks. You can go and back into. So if the patient, if you click the time now, if you said time now, boom, and then you click this, you go, oh, it started 2 hours ago. You can go one, two, and now you got a time. Excuse me. I thought that was pretty cool, actually. All right, so there's the narrative. We're going to come back to the narrative, okay? And now we're going to go to transport info. Number of patients being transported was one. How was the patient moved? Now, look, you might say, God dang, Gary, this is so freaking anal. Look, you are going to have to put this in. You're going to have to remember to type this in your narrative. How important is it to explain how you move the patient? That can be really important. Um, if you think about it, like let's say you had a patient who you said, oh, you can walk to the ambulance, okay, and then they tripped, or you didn't document it at all, okay. Some patients require you to need you to carry them either for their own, either because they can't walk or because they just don't need to walk. Like you have a person, like I had a guy who weighed, he probably weighed probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 400 pounds. And he had really ridiculously high blood pressure. And um, like, like, like my partner's like, oh, he can walk. I'm like, dude, he doesn't need to walk, man. If he falls, we're going to have to pick him up. Do you want that? Do we have a forklift? It was in the middle of some little trailer. Okay, so like get the stair chair. That's kind of where that conversation went. All right, how the patient was moved to the ambulance? We're going to say by stretcher because that's what was in the video. Transport mode from the scene was non-emergent. There's no reason to transport that patient. License sirens. Additional transport mode descriptors. We don't really have any. Not applicable. I actually want something there. Let's see. No lights and sirens is how we went. Position of patient during transport. We're going to say that the patient's in the semi-Fowler's position. EMS transport method was ground ambulance. Condition of the patient at destination. We're going to say non-acute routine. All right, now we've got to go into the destination information. Just the Capital Regional Medical Center is fine. Reason for choosing the destination, it should be patient choice. Now, look, remember that there's a like the choice of hospital that a patient goes to um, is based off. The primarily is based off where the patient wants to go, and can you take them there? Or so, let's say you're in Dahlonega and the patient wants to go to Grady. Can you take them there? You probably can't because the ambulance service probably published a list of hospitals that was in a reasonable distance to where the ambulance was supposed to be based. So they generally would prohibit you from going to places like that outside of your little area. Uh, but the this is not to. So what if the patient requests to go to a hospital that's inside your area? You can take them there. But what if that hospital's on diversion? Well, the reality of it is if the hospital's on diversion, then the patient, um, then the patient, and the patient insists on going there anyway, you can still take them there. It's really not. It's kind of like diversion, dispersion. It's kind of a no brainer. So the patient generally gets the heaviest weight here. Now, if you needed to go to, what if the patient's unconscious? You can go to the closest hospital, or you can go to an appropriate, maybe a more capable hospital, like a trauma center or something. Anyway, that's uh, hospital decision. Transport decisions are based primarily off patient choice or family choice. Hospital capability, it was just a regular old hospital. Okay. And it already knew the address. It's in Tallahassee, Florida. Look at that. All right. Did we have any pre-arrival alert? What's the pre-arrival alert? This is that stroke alert I was telling you about. Or you're going to a trauma center, so you're going to do a trauma. So this is where you could pop in all your billing information. We're not going to need to put that in there. It's not required information. A lot of times, the ambulance service will have their own form for this. So, but again, what's nice to do is if you have this, like, I think you should collect this information and put it in there anyway and use this as your billing form because um, it's already there. You can just collect the information and it can find its way to the next person that transports this patient from your service, you know. So that's pretty handy. All right, so you see that we're at 80% validation. We're going to do everything except the narrative. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is go to times. And you can see that our times are kind of screwed up. Actually, let's go to our timeline. All right, so we still don't know when we made contact with a patient. So, all right, so let's go back to our times. Let's see, dispatch priority. It was non-acute. Number of patients. I wonder what this was looking for. Oh, there it is. Level of care provided. It wants you to put BLS all levels. And response times. All right, so now we got to arrive at the patient's side. Bam. We're gonna say this was closer to 1300. Okay, and then now we can go back and pop these other times in there. All right, looks like it's happy with our times. Looks like our times and everything makes sense. See? That also ties in with your timeline. Also has to jive with all your vital signs and all the other stuff that you put in there as well. It wants to know vehicle mileage. And again, my deal about this is that I think all this information should already be in there personally. Like like you can make it to where the ambulance talks to a computer and it knows the mileage and there was a GPS and it knew where you were coming from and somebody and since you were going to the same patient again, you already like based off the address, you already knew who this person was. So it's so much better. And then just like waking up every day like you have a fucking head injury or something and like oh it's a new patient. No, it's not. It's the same people. All right, so even without putting in a narrative in here, I mean, so what are we supposed to write? All right, so some people would write, um, some people would write stuff like SOAP, like objective assessment plan. Um, no, see, look, I mean, I don't really believe all that's really necessary because, like, all we have a lot of that information already there. Like a lot of this stuff is already in this is already um has already been outlined. What the patient was complaining of, what we saw. I mean, it's all there. So what are we supposed to write in here? Well, this is what I like to write, and I think this is the way everybody should write patient care reports. I think you should write since we went to all the trouble to put in all this data. How much do you really need to say for this to make sense? And also how much risk is involved here? A person called 911. You went to their house. You took them to the hospital on a stretcher. What do you think? We dropped her off at the hospital. Is anybody going to get sued? Did anybody die? Was anybody killed? No, it's a low risk proposition. There's literally no reason to over explain this call. Remember, who do we over explain things to? Well, we over explain things to dumbass attorneys like who need to hear every freaking detail. I don't think they're going to be interested in this call. There's nothing in it for them. So, unless it comes down to the reason why she had abdominal pain is because she had food poisoning and she ate at a restaurant. Now that they're subject to a class action lawsuit or something weird like that. Again, that's just the world we live in. Okay, so what do I write? I just start off with I just go through the process. So I start off with this. I tell you about the scene size up. Scene size up. One patient, no mechanism of injury. Scene was safe. If I wanted to, I could explain about it was a residential neighborhood or not. It just depends. Like I said, I don't think this call happened at 3 o'clock in the morning. I really don't think I don't think this requires a lot of damn explanation. Primary survey. All right, look, the patient was alert, speaking in complete sentences, has a radial pulse, no respiratory distress, radial pulses. Uh, Here to be, that's a primary survey. Boom. Focus history and physical exam. Look, we already have this. We already have like most of the focus history and physical exam is what? Vital signs, sample history. We already documented all that. The only thing we're down to talking about is what we did, like the physical exam part of it. Okay, so an automatic. By the way, what do you think is wrong with her? Just real quick. I'm just going to ask you this real quick. Seriously, dude, really? She's a. Let's go back to the complaint. Female, abdominal pain. Put it together. There we go. We think she has an ectopic pregnancy. Boom. Okay. So yeah, there you go. That's what we think is wrong with her. See, I mean, the world we live in, say, like the Chinese menu does live up to reality, you know. All right, so I mean, we inappropriately that we noted no tenderness, which was a nice way of saying no tenderness, or how about tenderness noted to lower quadrants. Boom, there you go. I mean, look, do we have to tell about how we transported her or how we got her to the ambulance? Nope, we don't have to do that because it was already put in there. As far as I'm concerned, this is fine. Now, what if you had a big conversation about what if we had a big conversation about the about what hospital to go to? So then that's where you should do. This is where you could document this. So this is just basic stuff. So I mean, if you just showed up, the patient wants to go to the hospital down the street. There was no problems doing that. That's literally all you would need to do to type that in there. That's it. And if you're going to dialysis, same deal. Patient's alert, speaking in complete sentences, no radio pulse. Um, Also, I mean, with a private ambulance service, they probably want you to document in there maybe why the patient can't sit up, like patient can't sit in a wheelchair, which would preclude them from riding in a wheelchair van due to contractures or whatever, you know. So because we're ambulance service are always having to like justify like why they were why they were um had to pick this patient up and take them to in an ambulance. You know, why couldn't they go in a wheelchair van? So, all right. And honestly, a lot of times I think that they could have gone in a wheelchair van. So, all right. So we're going to save this, and then we're going to finish the incident, and then we're going to close it out, and then we're done. We all you had to do was five, and we just did five. I'm opening yours up. See why you're at 98. Oh, you got the mileage. There we go. That's 100%. Good job, Hunter. All right. Finish the incident for you. Done. All right. All right. So now I'm going to show you. I got one more thing to do here. I'm going to send you an email, and there's another assignment I need you to do. Okay. All right. Hunter, I just sent you an email with some further instructions. Awesome. Okay, very good. All right, so you're done with everything. So we're done. So just do so. You could just go ahead and bang that out on your own. And how's everything been going with Pocket Pro? You ready? Okay, you're making some progress. All right, so yeah, I'd like to see you do a little bit more with pocket prep before you sign up. But at this point, you could sign up for the test. Yeah, I'd like to see you do better on that. But I'd like to see you do better on pocket prep. But I would like um um. But other than that, I think you're ready to test. So whenever you decide you want to sign up for the test, after I mean, I'll if you say if you could do, I don't know, maybe do a couple hundred more, do but get into like 300 questions and see how you do, and then you're ready to go. Okay. All right. Very good. Well, that's it, man. That's all I got for you. So just bang that train system class. I'll get back to get on working on the on pocket prep. Awesome, and we'll be in touch. Thank you, sir. All right. I'll be signing off. Yeah, I'll be watching you, but yeah, please, yeah, just call me. You can call me on the phone or email or whatever. And we'll make it happen. All right, man. I'm gonna be signing off. So if you have any questions, just call me if you need anything, okay? Or send us an email. 10-4. All right. I'm out.